Hi there, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. My name is
Hello.
Hello, and my name is Jessica, and I'm with Miami Wefus. Of course, we're so excited to have your series, your web series, um, included in the trailers, and want to say congratulations before we start, because I know that your series is on Amazon and Amazon Prime.
Yes.
So
Well, actually, right now, yes, you can find it on Prime, but it's not free on Prime. And that's a whole long discussion that gets into stuff that indie filmmakers and the anger that we have towards Amazon these days. It's such a long conversation. Suffice to say, yes, it is on Amazon and Prime.
Well, I have to tell you, I saw before last night, actually, I saw your episode 2. And then I went to Amazon and I saw that you had to pay. And I'm going to start watching it. So,
Good.
regardless of having to pay, that's how good the episode you sent over. I was impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, we've had a lot of great reviews and support, and it's been, I've been in this business a long time, and having this content that my wife and I have created together ourselves, without being beholden to network executives and all these other sort of lower level functionaries, and just doing what the vision that's in our head has been an amazing experience so far, and we're still going.
And it reflects on your work, the quality. I noticed the quality and also the actors. Where did this concept come? Or tell us first what the Thespian series is about. And
Well,
for our
sure,
listeners, for our
sure.
viewers.
It's about a guy who, on his 50th birthday, finds himself back in Baltimore, having left years earlier to start a career. He'd lived in New York and LA and all these other places. And now he's at the point in his life where he's back where he started, and he's living across the street from the apartment he left 25 years earlier to begin this once very promising career. And that is ostensibly autobiographical. The only difference is in the show, in season 1, we find out that my character moved directly to New York, whereas in my truth, I'm originally from New York, and actually, when my family moved to Baltimore, I started my career by moving to Chicago. But that aside, that was all kind of autobiographical. So when you get hit with that notion of, you know, crap, how the hell did I end up back here, like, and looking at the place I left, that could be, emotionally debilitating, to say the least. Or, you could kind of hit reset and go, let me go back to, in Adam's case, his original passion, which was serious acting. So the whole story is about Adam sort of reinventing himself at the age of 50, he's giving up stand-up comedy to pursue serious acting. Therefore, the name Thespian.
And I love the title too. I was a thespian at one point back in high school, so I love that the title drew me in, and I think for a lot of actors and a lot of entertainers, your series kind of is a draw. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, people that are in the business, of course, they love it because they see themselves, they see their frustrations. Adam goes through a lot of hell in Thespian, a lot of it funny and a lot of it, sort of dramatic and poignant, and, dealing with age issues and maintaining relevance and a certain sense of kind of like almost, oh, excuse me, sorry about that.
it's okay.
Really sorry. You know, a sense of like ageism, that kind of, which is kind of a new word, but it's a word. Um, and but what I really love is that people who aren't in the business still love the series because, even if their struggle is not about acting, it's about whatever it is for them. And I like to think that we've kind of found a happy medium. So, I know that you saw the second episode of season 2. That episode leans pretty heavy on the comedy, but there's also that scene early on that Adam's not in, with another character and her daughter and all of that. So there are some serious issues that are dealt with in the show. And Adam deals with a lot of things that aren't just funny. They're about life, and they're about perseverance and all of that stuff.
I love it. I love it. I love the way you combined that element of reality with the, I guess, striving for that drastic transformation in the career. I love it the way you created that engagement for the audience that's enjoying the show.
Thank
It
you.
is. It is wonderful. So the concept you created was to appeal to artists, but it ended up appealing to everybody.
Well, no, it was always about, that was just a story that I wanted to tell.
Okay.
I think for a lot of people, and look, it's a smart thing to do, is as a writer and as a content creator, think to yourself, well, what's my market? And then write for that market. I didn't really approach it that way. I just knew that this was a story that I wanted to tell. Um, we shot the first 2 episodes of season 1 with basically nothing. A lot of people just helped out. And we made these first 2 episodes, and then we ran an Indiegogo campaign to fund the rest of the season. And then there was interest from people, some agents and managers. It's a whole long story. But as we've moved from season 1 to season 2 to season 3, we've been able to up our game because more and more people are interested in the show, want to help us keep making it. And so you'll see there's a level of, quite frankly, production values from season 1 up to 2, and then jumping up ahead even more in season 3. I think if you look at season 1, you go, wow, that's amazing. And if I tell you what we spent to make that, you go, wow, that's really amazing, because I can't believe you did that for that amount. But really, it was all just about wanting to tell the story, and it's still about that.
Have you built up loyal fans? Do you
Sure, yeah,
find?
very, yeah. Again, like I said, we crowdfund, and also actually this season we were able to get some grant money too, and we're hoping for some more grant money. But yeah, there are people that are so interested in the show and such fans that they've kind of stepped on board as producers, meaning, they're writing us checks for $1,000 and, 500, 1,000, 3,000. So that's loyalty, you know, because the only thing they're really getting for their money is a producer credit and, more show, you know. Yes, we would love to sell it to a major platform. I believe it belongs on it is on a major platform, but it's not an Amazon studio production. Amazon has a video. It's different than YouTube. YouTube pretty much, and YouTube's great. And in fact, Thespian is also on YouTube now. But YouTube is pretty much open to anybody. Amazon, their video distribution, it has to be vetted. There's a lot more hoops to jump through. But ideally, we would like to be we would like to make a ton of money because Netflix licensed the show. That would be the ultimate goal. But you can't make a show like this for that reason. You have to make it because you love doing it, and then if the rest follows, great. If it doesn't, that show lives on, for the ages.
Right.
You know,
Forever,
right?
forever. So is that one of your goals, you would say, to get it licensed on Netflix? What is your
Netflix,
goal?
or well, sure. Netflix or another platform. It's such. I like to think. No, I am. I'm really good, I think, at writing, directing, all the things that I've done in my career, stand-up comedy. I really suck at figuring out the industry. I'm like, I should never, I should teach it. If I was going to teach like a seminar, it would be like everything you shouldn't do.
Well, that
You
helps
know,
too.
it does. And I have so many great stories that I can tell people, like, never do this,
Right.
in terms of how you engage with the industry or don't engage with the industry. There's a lot of networking involved. There's a lot of stuff. To me, that just takes away from making stuff. If you spend all your time marketing, when do you find time to write? And that's why I think you get a lot of content that is not as good as it could be, because some people they're so interested in being, making money, being influencers, or, whatever the term is, that they're not really considering the quality of their content. That
But
might sound a little, whatever. So,
no, no, not really. But I have a question for you, Mark. So if your quality is great, if your content is fantastic, if your message is powerful, which I think you have a great product, doesn't it naturally take its course and end up in a major situation if it's built up and it's built up its following and its fans?
well, I mean, look, yeah, there's a point where if you're able to grab the kind of traction, so much of our business now is about social media, right? And how many followers you have and how many likes. And if you're able to create content that goes, viral and you're getting 1 million followers, yeah, you're gonna get into the rooms, you're gonna get into the meetings. But to do that, I think there are some great examples of shows that are quality shows. The best example is the show Cobra Kai, right? The Karate Kid kind of spinoff.
Hmm.
So there's something that started on YouTube, and I mean, it was a licensed show by YouTube then even, but it was a much smaller sized audience. But then that thing just blew up so big that eventually it was able to move to Netflix and get even bigger and more seasons. But getting those kind of numbers, it's honestly, it's not. I mean, Thespian is a series. Honestly, look, if you're under 25 and you like Thespian, I love you as a human being. That means you are wise beyond your years. That means you want to know what it's like to be 50. But I mean, let's face it, the demo for the show is, kind of 30 plus.
Right,
And that's not necessarily, you know, that's not where all the money is these days,
right,
and the industry is about making money. That's really what it comes down to. If it's quality content, that's just better. But it still comes down to how do we market to, you know, young people ostensibly, you
right,
know?
right.
So yeah, so in my generation, so when the older demographic becomes the new hot thing, then they'll be all over us. Like, we want thespian, we want thespian. But by then I'll be dead, but that's
Oh
okay.
no. You're hilarious, Mark. I think in person you're as funny as your character. I really enjoyed your character. Tell me how you feel about the Miami Web Fest, because obviously we're here because you are going to be having your episode featured in the Miami Web Fest.
I think, I mean, the Miami Web Fest, we've been a part of Baltimore Next Media Fest, Seoul Web Fest, Minnesota Web Fest. I love the fact that there is, really um, important and um, um, just that there's such passion for web series specifically. A web series can get lost in a film festival, and there are some film festivals that, they're now starting to look at web series a little bit, but you wonder how many of the web series are really getting accepted, or is it a way to get your extra 25 bucks? That's the reality.
Mhm.
But festivals that are focused on web series are the most exciting because you're in there with other people who are doing exactly or almost exactly what you're doing, you know.
And it's
So
that
I
same,
think it's great, and
yeah,
Miami's great, and yeah,
it's that
amazing.
same, it's that initial passion. You all have that drive and that passion because
Right.
you kind of find yourselves in the same place. What would be your advice for, let's say, a young thespian? Since you're talking about attracting, younger demographics. I know that there's a lot of thespians still. There's, 15-year-old, 16-year-old thespians that in high school. What would be your advice for a young thespian that wants to attempt to even do what you've accomplished?
Well, first, I would give yourself some time. I know you're waiting for a funny answer, and I have one, but I'm not going to give that one. Um, I would, because my funny answer would be, "Are you a fucking idiot? Don't do it." That's what you should do, is not do it. It's, well, honestly, I don't think. Well, first of all, this would be one piece of advice. I don't think anybody should. You said thespian, so that's an actor, right?
Yes, yes, a
I
young
don't think that
thespian.
a young actor. I don't think anybody should just act, because acting, there's so many things that are out of your control. So many. When we have to make casting decisions on thespian, you start to learn more and more about why you didn't get, or why I didn't get all those roles, in LA or New York or wherever. I mean, because it has nothing to do with your talent. It really, truly doesn't. The idea that talent will out, it may or may not, but you're going to get turned down a lot. And as an actor, it's almost like you don't exist until somebody else creates you, meaning somebody has to write a role for you to act in. Somebody then has to direct you to be that actor. You have, the only thing that you can control as an actor is not much. Really, you're told where to stand, you're told what to say. In some cases, you're told how to say it. Now, if you're working with a good director, and I like to think that Maria and I working on Thespian, that we give people the latitude to try things and to make the characters their own. When I write a character, I hear a voice in my head, but I want to hear your interpretation, as an actor, right? But still, it's really difficult. I would suggest take writing classes, take directing classes. Don't allow yourself to have to wait for the phone to ring. Because I think that's a terrible place to be emotionally. And you should always be moving forward with something. And your writing might suck when you start, but it will get better. Everybody has the ability to write something interesting, and that should be the focus of any actor. And then the other thing I would say is, whether it's actor, writer, director, comedian, really decide early on what your ultimate goal is, because it's very easy to move in a lot of different directions. Like for me, I started out thinking I would do straight acting. Then I was kind of into improv and sketch, and I studied at Second City, and then I gravitated to stand up, and then I became a stand up, and that was great in terms of, stand up got me to the highest point in terms of where I was in the industry,
Right.
but I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't happy. I wasn't artistically happy. I was living in LA, and it would be pilot season, and I'd be going out for these auditions to play dumb neighbor, Rob Schneider's dumb neighbor or something, or, Kevin James's golfing buddy. And I'm like, this sucks. These lines suck. I don't want to say these lines. And I think it read in my face,
Right.
I think, and it's because I didn't really want that. And so I think you have to decide what you want early, and examine that and stick to that. Otherwise, you're trying to serve too many masters.
So did you create Thespians so you could take all those aspects that you had learned throughout your career and put them all into one character, maybe?
Um, I would say not one character. I would say what I've learned in my career into one show,
Got it.
meaning what I've learned as a writer, what I've learned as a director. I write all the episodes. Maria and I direct the episodes. We edit the episodes. We do a lot of the not all the post production, but most of the post production. And learning how to tell a story, and playing the character of Adam. Adam's not me. In fact, I was at a WebFest seminar, and somebody asked me, what's the difference between Adam and Marc Unger? And I said, I think Adam's more likable, which is a terrible thing to say about yourself. But he's, he's not exactly me. So it's nice to step into a role, even if it's a role that I'm really close to. But what I really like is, the other characters, and how they, when you finally sit down and watch the whole, both of the, the first two seasons, you're going to see some really, really good acting, really, really good writing. It just is.
Excellent.
And you're going to see characters with growth, and you're going to see the actors who play those characters have the talent to be able to pull off that growth. And the story just kind of gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, Adam is the main character, but it's not just Adam's story. That's one of the things I really like about this.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed even in that little episode, I noticed that, like in the dinner scene, but I'm not going to give
Yeah,
anything away. Yeah.
right. Yeah, and the dinner scene is a good example. Even though, in fact, in that scene, Adam is sort of the focus,
Mhm.
but not really. I mean, all the other family members, and you learn a lot about them. Some people, this I guess is a writing tip more than anything. Newer writers tend to overwrite. They think you've got to hit an audience over the head, with 6 pages of dialogue before you understand the character. You can define a character in a couple of lines of dialogue, at least get a sense of who that person is. And then of course you need to cast an actor who can bring that to life. But
Right.
it starts, with the words.
Amazing. Amazing. I am so excited that you will be featured at the Miami Web Fest. Wishing you all the best of luck. Mark, sorry Maria couldn't be here.
Yeah,
Um,
she just
but
couldn't happen. Sorry.
we are so excited, wishing you the best of luck. Once again, want to let everybody know that Marc Unger has this Thespian series. You can see it on Amazon. Hey, I'm going to be buying it. So everybody else out there should support, because trust me, you won't be disappointed. It's an amazing series, and I definitely think that you are on your way to something that's bigger than yourself.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Wishing you the best of luck, and thank you for being a part of the Miami Web Fest, and
Absolutely.
we'll see you on Amazon Prime.
See you soon. Take care.
Bye bye. Have a great day. Bye bye.